Now, let us talk about the concept of appropriate mix of contracts. How much to commit to a long-term contract? Now, long-term contract means manufacturer and retailer would be in such a relationship, supply chain relationship, in which a retailer would, or both parties would actually be going for a repeated contracts. This is the essence of relationship marketing. So there would be a repeated contracts. You never select a manufacturer for one transaction. In fact, you would always want to have a long-term relationship to take the advantage in a long term. Now, what should be the level of commitment for such a long-term contract? There could be a base commitment level, or in other words, this is the minimum commitment level that the retailer or the manufacturer has agreed upon. And how much capacity to buy from companies selling option contracts? This is always a question in terms of contracting, that if I have to go for a capacity reservation contract or an advanced purchase contract or an option contract, what would be the option level? How much capacity should I reserve with that type of a manufacturer? And of course, it should be a long-term one. Manufacturer would get a signal that every time this retailer would be going for this option. How much supply should be left uncommitted? For sometimes retailers uncommit some of the demand. They look at the final forecast, final demand actually in the market, and then they go to a spot market, spot purchase. This sometimes give benefit to those retailers whose uncommitted demand is actually not that high. And their leftover inventory in that case actually cost them much. So that they actually avoid the leftover inventories, they actually uncommit some of the demand, and after looking at the market, at the last moment, they will go for a spot purchase. Additional supplies in spot market, if demand is high. Actually, HP, Hewlett-Packard, has a strategy for electricity or memory products, and they use spot market for their additional supplies. About 50% of the procurement cost invested in long-term contracts. So major procurement cost is actually the long-term contracts. 35% is for the option contracts. Option contracts are actually the non-strategic contracts. It could vary from time to time. And remaining is actually invested in the spot market. This is the behavior of Hewlett-Packard strategy. So 15% of their products actually come from the spot market. They have invested 35% in option markets and 50% in long-term contracts. So for a given situation, either the option level or the base commitment level may be high, but not both. When we say base commitment level, we are actually talking about the long-term contracts. So if inventory risk is high for the manufacturer, the base commitment level would be low and option level would be high. That means option contracting would be a better thing. For price and shortage risk to the retailer, option contract is not that great. Even the base commitment levels or long-term contracts are not very attractive. In that case, retailer should be going for the spot market. And if inventory risk for the retailer is high, then in that case, base commitment levels would be better. They are more attractive than the option contracts. So students, we have actually seen different type of contracts which are either falling in the regime of make to order supply chains or make to stock supply chains. Then we talked about the non-strategic contract as well. We need to keep it in mind that companies or organizations, they always look at the appropriate mix of all of these contracts. Thank you.